Hey everybody, welcome to The Independent Mouth. I am your host, Anthony, and we have another amazing show for you today. Today is Monday. We all love Monday. Now, a couple notes. I'm not going to be continuing throwing the dates out there, only because there are tons of different shows that are going to be there, and also for syndication. If for some reason syndication happens at 11 o'clock at night and the show was recorded the day before, I don't want people to kind of be bugged out on when something was recorded and then have to field all of those messages. So just to let you guys know, we're working on syndication of 2 channels right now. One of them is going to be directly syndicated out of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, while the other one will be syndicated out of Colorado, or West Coast syndication in sense. So I'll keep everybody up to date and in the loop on all of that. But we have some good news. So other good news is we have tons more interviews coming up. Just to let everybody know, about once a week, we're going to have some more interviews that are out, like for who's coming up now. So this Wednesday, you're going to start to see some marketing going out where we have Jim, the podcast Sherpa, who hosts Too Many Podcasts, and you can find that on Spotify, Apple, all over the place. That will be released on Wednesday. So Wednesday, you will start to see that come out. And that's a fun and real lighthearted podcast. It's an awesome podcast. It is something where Jim actually does a great job. He interviews all types of people, gets some really amazing and interesting questions, but it's a really cool deal of what he's doing over there and with that podcast. I'm really happy that I'm able to be a part of it. I've had some conversations with some wrestling greats. Some people who have been around the wrestling industry for a very, 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 very long time. And they're super excited and happy to be coming on to the show. And we're going to get some great wrestling stories from people. I'm talking back in the days of like Bob Backlund. I'm talking back in the days of the transition, from WWE, from WWF to WWE, and all the stuff in between. And we got some great minds. Also, coming up, I'm going to be interviewing Patrick Kilpatrick. He's a director, writer, actor. We have that. I have Michael Stein from Boogie Nights and the Dirk Diggler story. That's going to come out in about not this week, but next week. So there are a lot of things happening. I'm going to be on tons of shows that are coming up. I have a full schedule. You guys are going to be hearing me maybe on some of these different shows and all over the place. So don't be surprised if you start to, the stock on the Independent Mouth starts to go up a little bit. I am using Steve. You may see him across my social media posts as my PR guy. Super nice guy. Really helpful. We'll kind of see where it all goes. But he's been really kind and great to me thus far. So I'm going to reciprocate that right back to him. Let's get into the news. I know a ton of people really, really enjoyed the LeBron outtake and providing the information from Malcolm X and calling LeBron the clown that he is. Uneducated with all of that money. I could never imagine being that uneducated with all of that money. That boggles my mind. And if you're looking for something that's a little fiery and hot in this episode, you're going to get it. And I'll explain why. I briefly spoke about it the other day, the pictures that are being sent out on Twitter, on Facebook, all of it. The Sun released photos of Epstein, Maxwell, and Clinton together. And remember, I had talked about these allegations a long time ago. I talked about the allegations going into the Clinton foundations for money laundering and all of that stuff, and bribes and business, along with the charities. Well, never before seen photo was released by The Sun the other day showing all 3 of them, since Maxwell and Epstein were invited to the White House. Invited. Not summoned. They weren't there because Bill Clinton was looking into some nasty things that were going on. He was invited. What does that do? Verifies and justifies his name on the flight logs. Verifies and justifies the questions and concerns into the Clinton foundations for the money laundering of those charities between, quite possibly, I'm not saying that it's there yet, but quite possibly, trafficking. How do you feel now? You want to scream at all those people you call them conspiracy theorists, and what just happened? The proof was laid at your feet in the public. What now? What's your next move? I'll give you a couple minutes to think about it. I'll give you a couple minutes to to fester upon it, and I'll go to another topic. I'll come back to that topic in a minute. Remember Seth Rich? Ties into all of it too, doesn't it? He had the information from the DNC emails, right, that was hacked. They tried to say it was Julian Assange. Nah, Seth Rich had that. Remember when they told you that he got shot in the back alley? That was wrong also. He was actually sitting on a park bench in a pretty wide open area when he seen two people who were MS-13. They killed him. He tried to run away. Why? Because on his persons, he had a USB drive. On that USB drive had tons and tons of information. Guess what? The person who supposedly hired those two people have a direct connection to Rod Rosenstein. We talked about that months ago. Remember, you can't say these things. We're all conspiracy theorists. But now, 5-6 months later, all the information starts coming out. But people's brains are so programmed because the news moves so fast that you don't want to circle back to that, Raggedy Ann. I'm going to circle back to a Raggedy Ann point in a moment. Seth Rich was murdered. That is true. And I'll explain to you how I know it's true. Anthony, how is that true? Let me explain to you. Let me tell you how true that is. It's true because the FBI was directed before Trump left the White House to release all of the documents in regards to Seth Rich. And guess what they found? They said it was a street robbery. What did I just say about 45 seconds ago? It was not a street robbery. Yep, they found that out. It wasn't a street robbery. Hold on. Now, there was FBI docs that were tucked away in the back. Tucked away. Right? They never found any unusual deposits or withdrawals from Seth Rich, which means he wasn't paid. He wasn't part of that system. Explains why he died. Hold on. Gets better. Gets better. On a dock, once again, tucked way in the back. What'd they find? The FBI literally wrote this. And this is why this information, Kash Patel, thank you so much, and everybody else who has been out there. Listen, check this out. Ready? It is a conclusion, and it is conceivable that an individual, group, or person would pay for his death. That is written by the FBI. You're going to tell me the FBI is going to ink a piece of paper that would be held. Now, they had no idea that this was going to be released. They had no idea that this would resurface back into the public views ever again. They had no idea. They never knew. And now it's there. I'm telling you, it's out. You can find it. Let me say this again. It is conceivable that an individual, group, or person would pay for his death. Who the hell would say that? Who would say it? But that's okay. That's okay. It's okay that the FBI concluded that someone would want to kill him, but his death was an accidental street robbery. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just sit back on that one. You want to digest that for a minute? I'll let you chew on that for a moment before I go on. Do you need me to let you sit on that? I'll let you sit on that. Go ahead, take a second. Take a second. I'm not even going to get into Arizona yet. I'll wait. Let's talk about the border real quick. Remember, because that's gone kind of quiet. Did you know that Kamala Harris is peddling her book at the border? Peddling her book at the border. Do you know what this book is called? It's called Superheroes Are Everywhere. And there's a caricature of her on the right side of the book, and it looks like a camel. Now, they all get copies. All of these kids, all of these people, the children, all get copies of Kamala Harris's book. Let me ask you, if Trump put a pamphlet out, not even a book, a pamphlet of how to stay cool during the summer, or how to stay warm during the winter in America, they would have tried to impeach him. And she's peddling a book. It's a conflict of interest. Oh, they won't talk about that. No, we can't talk about that. I'm sorry, guys. I shouldn't talk about that. It's wrong. Anthony, she's trying to help people. Really? Huh? Trying to help people or sell a book? She hasn't even been to the border. So if you want to come at me with an argument, and you want to come at me with some sort of point of view, and tell me that you're supporting Potato Joe and Camel Toe, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to everything that you feel and think. But do me a favor. Get your facts straight. Just like you want to defend LeBron, it's indefendable. Period. She has a conflict of interest and nobody will say anything because the media is on her side. Now remember, when illegals were crossing illegally or staying here and not reporting to their said court cases, Trump had set up fines for them. There would be a daily fine each day that they didn't leave. Well, guess what? Biden removed it. And he's canceling their debt. How nice. So Americans are starving, their businesses are dying, but you're supporting illegals coming into the country. What about all the kids who can't move out of their parents' basement from college and school debts, but you're giving illegal immigrants and illegal aliens debt-free? You're an idiot. If you voted for him, you're an idiot. I'm not even swaying on that. I'm not apologizing. You're an idiot. More than 5 million Americans, or around 8%, have not opted to get the second vaccine. Why? Because the first one sucked. Why? Because you have to continue taking shots. Why? Because it's not actually a vaccine. Does that work for you? Military won't get the vaccine. Does that tell you anything? No, vaccine doesn't cause you any problems. Just a little anal leakage, your eye droops a little bit, you grow a third nipple, and you lose a toe. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Take the second shot. Oh, you're pregnant? You just gave birth to an alien because you got both shots. How's that? Huh? Does that work for you? You guys are friggin' sheep. There's nothing else to say. If you haven't looked into this, did you not pay attention to the huge PR hit that they put on Johnson & Johnson? Why? Look at the timing. Follow the money. Anthony, you're a conspiracy theorist. I said this months ago. Thank you for the people who support me. Thank you for the people who follow. Thank you for the people who show me love. To all those people who wanted to doubt me, eat the whole effing bag and choke on the crumbs. It's insane, man, the stupidity. What's happening in Arizona? You want me to go off on that rant? I'll go off on that rant. No, I haven't taken a breath. And I won't. What's happening in Arizona? Let's play this back a little bit. Did we not say that there was election fraud? Did we not say that there was things that could be questionable across the entire United States on election fraud? Did I not say the simple phrase, I'm just a dumb game designer and I'm not an attorney? Why did I say that? Why? To play the part. I understand how the coding works in those machines. I understand how internet works with those machines. I understand how the processing works with those machines. I suggest if this is your first time listening to this show, go back and listen. I broke it down very clearly. They're checking the ballots. So what happened at the end of last week? Well, the Democrats said, man, we're really worried about the chain of custody. What happened to the chain of custody when the machines were being rolled in? What happened to the chain of custody with all the ballots? What happened to the UPS driver that showed up and was told, this is not your delivery spot, but on his receipt it was, signed off by a manager, and he got pushed to a different spot with a box full of ballots? Nah, doesn't mean anything. But I'll let you know what's happening in Arizona. So the judge turns around, the Democrats say, oh my God, there's so much fraud, we can't do this. What happened to this? Blah, blah, blah. So the judge goes, hey, you know what? Here's $1 million bond. Put up the $1 million and I'll halt the whole thing. I'll slow it down. How'd that work? The Democrats never put up the $1 million. You know why? Because if they put up the $1 million, it would have absolutely confirmed the corruption and the deceit that was taking place behind the scenes. So you know what happens Monday morning? The judge recused himself. The judge recused himself. Ask yourself why. Man, you want to step up to that plate, dude, you better be able to hit my fastball before you open your mouth. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you don't hit that fastball, dog, I'm striking you out and you're gone. You want to come at me sideways calling conspiracy theorists? I'm not calling conspiracy theorists, man. Look at all the stuff that's popping up in the news. Okay, Oscars, Academy Awards, trash. Basketball ratings down 70-something%, trash. MLB has been fighting to get people to watch them for years. They continue to drop. Not because they got political, they don't know how to market their own people except for themselves. You want to tell me I was wrong? Said this 6 months ago. Please, debate me on it. I have more black people calling me now asking the questions that they were trying to ask months ago. But in their own communities, they were chastised because they weren't, quote unquote, going along with the plan. How disgusting is that? You want to talk about the biggest plague to the black community? It's the black people in charge using them as pawns. Go back to Malcolm X and challenge me on it. Because I brought that to LeBron. I haven't heard a word from LeBron. Oh, I don't know who you are? Go ahead. That's your comment because you don't have an answer. Because you're an uneducated, ignorant millionaire who doesn't deserve a microphone. Come at me now. Come at me now. You won't. You won't unless you have the protection of the NBA. You know why? Because I won't make you look good. Challenge accepted. Then I'll play in basketball and lose. But that was expected. Man, you guys try to come sideways, get out of here. The amount of people that we have coming on this show, and I'm telling you now, there are tons of people who now have been listening to the show. And they agree with what's being said. I'm not trying to yell at you. We're going to add some fun stuff during the week, but here's the part that gets me mad. Now you're talking about bomb squads investigating packages in front of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in NYC. Can I just ask you people a serious and simple question? Has nobody paid attention that whenever the news hits something, we start seeing all of this flood social media? Remember when you were getting annoyed because if you mentioned, wow, I would really like to have a grilled cheese, and all of a sudden an ad with the grilled cheese pops up. So now the news mentions gun control and we've got 87,000 shootings. Transgenders in sports? Get the hell out of my face with that, dude. They're doing it now. I actually had somebody on Facebook that came back and was like, you know, there's 6 different mutations to the gene, so it's not just 2 people. Shut up. There is mutations. Guess what? It's exactly what it is. It's called a mutation. That's not part of DNA, and it's not one of the genes that would be recognized except for 2 genders. Guess what? There's 2 genders. A boy has a penis, a girl has a vagina. It's very simple. Go watch Kindergarten Cop. Could somebody come out a hermaphrodite? Absolutely. How often does that happen? Anthony, you know, if the baby comes out, you should really ask the baby if it's okay if you change their diaper. Yeah, 6 months old, the baby should be telling the parent what they should do. You know what? Let's test that theory. When everybody leaves the hospital, leave the baby in the seat right there in the hospital and tell them to go home. Tell them to go home. When the baby starts crying, say, go ahead, go get your bottle of milk. You're hungry? Make yourself some dinner. Will a baby do that? No, they won't. You're an idiot. The person on Facebook who decided to comment that, I hope you listen to the show, and guess what? You're an idiot. For anybody else who wants to talk about, like, are we serious right now? Oh, let this 15-year-old girl boy, who's really a boy, wants to be a girl, dunk on all these people in basketball. I'm so good. All right. Let me give you a quick little personal story. At my son's baseball game over the weekend, this family that has two boys, there's a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. The league is 9 to 11. I shooed the parent away like a fly. Why? Because he's an idiot. Your kid's hitting home runs off of 9-year-olds. He's 12. Good parenting, you jackass. Put your kid in a higher league where he's supposed to, unless he's really that bad that he has to play with little kids. That's the kind of common sense we're working with here, folks. And then they want to make like they're playing real MLB rules. Bro, learn how to act. And then you start crying and whining because I start yapping from the other side of the fence. Here, I'll just give everybody a disclosure real quick. You're at a baseball game, don't ever walk into the other crowd of the other team. That's no man's land. You want to chirp from the other side of the fence, chirp from the other side of the fence. But I'll give you fair warning, man. I will be one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet. You get in my face, I will push you out. It's what happened to him. But as we look at it now, we have enough people out there that the stupidity is starting to grow. I don't know what news that they watch. I don't know what's there. If you're not paying attention to these other things that have been said for months on months on months on months, I don't know how to help you. I don't know how to help you. I can tell you that there's a lot of good things that are coming. If everything works the way that I think that it will with the syndication, the message will grow. We'll start getting some reality back to our thinking maybe that's taking place. But what's happening right now, I think it's pure stupidity. Pure stupidity. And that's my rant. That's my rant. I'm pretty sure that went very quick for you guys because it went very quick for me. Now, there's going to be more news. I'm going to pop out more news coming up. I just wanted you guys to understand what was taking place. By the way, the UFC fights over the weekend were amazing. I just want to say this. As we're talking about sports, we're talking about other people. Jorge Masvidal, thank you so much for being an example of respect and doing it the right way in sports. He got knocked out by Kamaru Usman. He had never been knocked out before, and he took it humbly. He paid his homage, he paid his respect, and he walked off. Thank you for showing the respect and not pushing some sort of fake racial divide for some type of clickbait. It is obnoxious. That is why I respect the UFC so much, because it is a no BS league, man. They call it how it is, and I respect that. Guys, I'm going to be back this week. We're going to add some more to the show. This one had to be a fiery one, man. Getting it ready for the week. And I just want to thank everybody, man. We have increased the amount of listeners and listeningship. It is unreal. And I want to thank you guys. And please like and subscribe across the channels. You don't have to find this only on Podbean. If you do listen to the Podbean app, I truly appreciate it. You can type in Apple Podcasts. You can type in Google Podcasts. You can type on the internet. Just type in The Independent Mouth and it will show up. You can listen on any platform. You can listen anywhere. By the way, my mother flew in. We're going to be spending some time over the next couple weeks. She's here for a couple weeks. I'll probably get yelled at when I get off of this podcast because she'll say, Anthony, you shouldn't be yelling at people. She doesn't know. She listens to the podcast, but she doesn't know. She can't tell me what to do anymore. Moms can always tell their kids what to do, just to let you know. But anyway, we're going to be having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are really enjoying these interviews that are going to be coming out over these next couple weeks. They're fun. They're awesome. They're informative. It's giving you stuff that nobody has ever given you before. It's as simple as that. Questions and answers that you have not heard anywhere else. Guys, Thank you so much for all the love and support with this show. I love you. All the love is back to you. And guys, we're going to see you tomorrow with another show. Thank you so much. You've been listening to The Independent Mouth. I am your host, Anthony, and we'll see you tomorrow.